Okay, today I'm going to walk you through how to remove the belt buckle from a second generation Honda CRV years 2002 to 2006. And this is what the old one that I pulled out looks like and came right out of that spot there. So I'll walk you through how to do it. It's pretty simple. Okay, the first thing we want to do is this. First thing we want to do is take out the bolts, the four bolts, right here on the front right side, that bolt, and it uses a 14 millimeter socket. And then over on this side, what you want to do is take off this cover, just stick a screwdriver gently on one side and kind of wiggle it off on the other side, and this cover comes off. Now, I don't know on the first one, back over here, I don't know if I actually had a cover on that one or not at one time and it just came off and I lost it. I'm not sure. But it is, once you pull this cover off, the bolt's right underneath it, and just pop that off. Take the two bolts off, and now we'll go to the back. Okay, now here we are on the back. Same thing, we got a cover here. Screwdriver, just gently pry that plastic off. And I say that do it gently because you don't want to break those. You know, it's an older car. This is an '03. You know, those get brittle, the plastic. You don't want to break them because they're going to be hard to replace. So once that's off, bolts under here. Then on the other side, same thing. Remove this cover gently, bolts under here. Okay, so once you have all four of those bolts removed, the seat will be loose. Let's go back up front. Okay, now the seat is loose, and all you have to do is connect these next two wires. You have this yellow one up top here that just unplugs, and then right below it, I don't know if you can see it, there's the other wire. You see the blue plug under there? Just, pull those two connectors off, and then the seat will come right off. There's nothing to prevent it. And what you want to do is just gently then take the seat, lift it up, and just come right out the door here. And what I found easiest, I set up a table on my carport, and I just took the seat and I laid it, I put the table and I laid the seat on its side where the tray right there is facing upward toward the sky. Then I worked on it that way. Okay, let's go back in the back seat. Okay, so once the seat is laying on its side this way and this tray area is pointing up, now to remove, you're going to have to remove this tray, and it just has three bolts underneath on this metal piece here, this metal that goes to the floor, that slides the seat back and forth. Just unscrew those three bolts, and the tray will come right off that assembly. Then all you have left to do is to remove this plastic cover that covers from here all the way to the front and covers the buckle assembly. And there's a little push pin, plastic push pin on here, this end and on the front end. And if you gently work those out, you can reuse them. And then from about a little midway forward, there's another little push and clasp, and that just holds it on. So once you get those three off, you'll be able to have access to your buckle, and the buckle just simply bolts on. You see that bolt right there with my finger? You just, use the socket and pull that right off. And once you're ready to put the new one on, put the new one, bolt it back in. This end right here, put that down. I'm holding the camera with the other. That just fits over a bracket, and it bolts in, and you're ready to go. Then just reassemble the way, opposite of the way you took it off. So put this on, obviously put your plastic cover back on, snap it all into place, bolt with the three bolts, put the tray back on, bring the seat back into the car, and 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, put those covers back on, and snap in the two plastic connectors, the yellow one and the blue one, and tighten it all up. Make sure it's all tight before you put the covers on. You're ready to go. Now there's one more thing that I want to show you up front. I'm going to pause this. Okay. Now what happened was when I put the new seatbelt on, the SRS up here on the front, the safety retaining system light stayed on. I couldn't get it to shut off. And that was fine. And I went to YouTube, researched a couple of other videos, and I found out how to do it. And what you want to do is you want to come down here to the fuse box and pull the lid off. And let me see it go down. Okay, so once the fuse box is off, what you want to do, this connector, that's, in my case, it was buried back behind these wires. And these wires, they're thick glob of wires, aren't moving very well. So what I had to do is I had to pull this plastic piece of the dash, I should say. I'm not really sure what they call it. Maybe a bezel, I don't know. So the way you take that off and made it much easier is in here, there's a screw right here. And then on this side, when you pull this one down, there's another screw in here. And then once those screws are removed, if you gently just pull this is all clipped on. So if you just gently pull from this side and the other side, take the steering wheel, and push it all the way to the up position, and gently pull this one off, and pull this one off. And once you get this off, and it'll flop on the ground or come way down low, then it's much easier to find this plug. And by the way, this plug just sits in a dummy holder. It's not plugged into anything, so you can actually just leave it out like this. Once you've removed it, it won't hurt anything. But what you want to do from there is you want to take a little wire like so, and obviously with the insulation of the strip, and put it in, slip it in there, and turn the key. Don't start the car, but just turn the key all the way, and you'll see the SRS light. It'll stay on for about 6 seconds, then it'll shut off. Okay, pull it back out, and then the light will come back on. Put it back in, stay on for about 4 seconds, and then it'll go off and take it out. And what you've done is you've reset your SRS light warning system, and it won't harm anything. And that's how they do it, a little more sophisticatedly at the dealership, but that's exactly how it's done. It's just reset, and you were good to go, and your your airbags and everything else will work just fine. This isn't going to do anything other than reset that light. Okay, well, I hope this video will help you. I've gotten a lot of good, helpful tips off YouTube, and that's why I posted this, just to help others who may have to go through the same thing I did. Okay.